come, I don't show. Aye, aye, see, oh yeah,
J. Martins.
aye, oh yo, hey, everybody, everybody. Oh yo yo, see. Oh yo yo, I don't come, I don't show. Aye, aye, see. Oh yo yo,
J. Martins.
aye, oh yo yo, hey, everybody, everybody. don't come, I don't show. Aye, aye, see, oh yeah,
J. Martins.
aye, oh yo, everybody, everybody.
You once served in that government, in fact, before they went out. So, how would you describe, the comment from the Labour Party government about a hostile takeover?
Thank you very much, Anastasia. English language is quite alien to us, and so when we make use of it, provisions must be made for fundamental misconceptions, because it is a language that is not ours. Probably if officials or the governor himself had spoken in his Arujuku dialect of Igbo language, he wouldn't have gone to that extent of describing the handover as a hostile one. In the first instance, what is the responsibility of a government that is handing over to a new one? It is to set up a transition committee, and this transition committee has to be bimodal. The government that is leaving will get some members, and then the government that is coming will also get some members, and then we'll meet and think out the processes of handing over. And what normally are the processes? Just prepare official documents that this is what we are leaving, this is what we are going to do during the handover ceremony, the ceremonial aspect of it, the documentary aspect of it, and of course the outgoing governor, Governor Kezi Bazu, made adequate preparations for this handover. And as is typical of a government, the former Secretary to State Government, Pastor Christensen, was the chairman of that occasion. They met about 2 or 3 times, and for only God knows why, the team of the new government decided to pull out. There was no rift whatsoever, and you don't become government until you were sworn in. So I think Governor Oti and his team must have had some mindset about the whole episode. Maybe they were coming in to make something out of nothing. Maybe to create the impression that there was unwillingness to hand over. We ran a democratic government, and we knew that after 4 years, a governor should be prepared to leave. If he does well, then he will be re-elected. On the whole, they are talking of 96 months. Once that clocks, you are bound to leave. So I don't know what he meant by hostile handover. And that's why I say that, because this language, English language is alien, it's foreign to us. Some people may not actually know the implication of what they're saying. I don't think there was any hostile handover.
Okay, the handover or takeover, depending on which side of the fence you're sitting, has since taken place. It's been about a month since the administration, a month plus some weeks now since the administration came on board. Let's take a look at some of the actions taken so far. Precisely the State House of Assembly, where the lawmakers have been inaugurated. But it appears there is still no harmony, no peace in the House as we speak. 11 PDP lawmakers last week issued a 90-day ultimatum to the Labour Party-led House of Assembly, asking them to give them what is their dues, and failure upon which they would institute a court case. What do you make out of the situation at the State House of Assembly?
Again, I want to say that man is at times controlled by his mindset. If you are coming into any organization and you are already biased, you have prejudice about that organization. If you are coming into government and you think that the people who are there are rogues, people who are there are criminals, people who are there are not worthy of any constructive description, you come in with its mindset and everything about you becomes quarrelsomeness. You will always be cantankerous. You don't make provision for any iota of peaceful disposition. So democracy has its rudiments. Be it in UK, be it in the United States of America, wherever you have majority in a legislative house, be it presidential, be it parliamentary, it is a norm that the party with majority produces the majority leader, including the speaker. But in the case of Abia State, where PDP has 11 members elected, Labour Party has only 10. Then you have YPP 2, you have APC 1. Those people have not resigned from their parties. So you cannot say they are part and parcel of PDP or Labour, because they are standing on their own. So for you now to arrogate to yourself illegally the status of a majority in a house of 24, where PDP has 11 members and the second party with the higher number of members is Labour with only 10, and you are not saying that Labour will constitute the majority. It is never done. You are only laying foundations for crisis, cataclysm in the society, which is completely avoidable. At the end, what are you going to gain by creating problems here and there. Let things be done the way they should be done.
So are you in support of the decision taken by the lawmakers to take this to the law courts if at the end of the expiration of the ultimatum nothing is done?
That is to tell you that those PDP members are mature. They are very, very diplomatic. They believe in applications. Otherwise, they will start fighting on the floor of the house. They said, no, we are mature. PDP is a household name. PDP is the father of democracy in contemporary Nigerian politics. We will not take to, being brutish. Let us approach the court. Let us first of all give you a 90-day ultimatum. If you don't revert yourself, then we will have no other option than to go to court. It shows civility. And I'm proud of those legislators.
But before they decided to go to court, they already walked out twice. Is that enough maturity on your level?
No. That is a sign that something is breeding in the house and that it should be stopped, nipped in the bud. They walked out. They didn't insult anybody. They said this thing you are doing is not in tune with democratic practices. Therefore, we will not be part of it. Since you want to do it, let us get ourselves isolated from these malpractices. And they walked out. When they came again, they repeated itself. They also said, let us walk out. Then the next time they said, no, these people are not ready to listen, to dance to democratic tunes. Therefore, let us give this ultimatum. If after 90 days they still believe that they have to be lawless, fine, we go to court. Let the court settle it.
Okay, Governor Alex Oti inaugurated the cabinet, his cabinet, last week, or was it this week?
Last week.
Okay, great. And if you look at the list, you can see a bundle of technocrats, fresh people, which is clearly a departure from the norm. In your PDP days, you will see names that have served even in 1999. And Sir Don, are you not excited with the newness, or how will I say that, freshness that Governor Uchi has brought to the cabinet?
I must have to say that it is not the hood that makes a monk. What makes a monk is the chastity of the monk. It is not name. It is not nomenclature. Now, yes, you are bringing in technocrats. When we ran government under Dr. Okezi, it was also made up of many technocrats. Okezi himself as governor is a technocrat. He's a technocrat by virtue of being a scientist, a well-trained scientist with a doctorate degree he obtained at less than 30 years. He's a technocrat, a scientist of very good standing. Then he had many technocrats in that government. But then you also make provision for people who are politicians, people who played a role in your emergence. So, what I'm saying here is that people were just brought in from different areas, people probably who do not know what the political terrain is, people who may not believe in grassroots contacts, people who feel that this man is not qualified to be in any governmental position because he has been this, he has not been this, he has not been that. So, like I said, it is not the who that makes the monk. What we want, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. What we want, we are more than a month now. It is more than a month that that government was inaugurated. We've not seen anything. What we've seen so far is altercations, blame game. It's just like the way our brother, former governor of Imo, did. He was only out to see faults in the government of Rita Sokorocha. And while he was doing that, nature came from nowhere and he was gone. Meanwhile, we shouldn't forget that at times history could repeat itself, or people repeat history. So the antics of the present government may also not be very different from what we saw in Imo State, and the resultant effect may also not be different. Don't forget, we are in the tribunal strongly too, very optimistic, because to the best of our mind, you to contest election. Electoral Act 2022 stipulated it. What you should do, you must be sponsored by a political party. Your name must be in the register of the political party that is sponsoring you, and of course your congress or primary election must also be monitored, observed by independent National Electoral Commission. And of course, in the case of Labour Party in Abia State, Otis name is not in the register. No supervision by INEC. So we are moving.
Anyways, you talked about grassroots-oriented people. Given that impression that those who have been appointed into the cabinet, they are alien to Abia State. Well, these are
alien to Abia politics. They are alien to Abia politics. Take for instance the lady that is made Accountant General. In the first instance, it is a complete deviation from what the norms are. An Accountant General is a product of the civil service itself. He grows from the rank, and at the appropriate time, he or she is appointed Accountant General.
Is that what the law says in Abia? Because if you go to other states, we've seen governors appoint Accountant Generals outside the civil service.
Well, I know in Anambra, Charles Soludo, who was a former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, appointed a core civil servant as his Accountant General. I don't know of another place. Well, you see, two wrongs don't make a right. That something wrong was done in another state does not mean it should be repeated in this state. We are saying that let the things be done properly. Everything that is in the public service or civil service has its rudiments, and you don't violate them. So now, you see, politics goes with some degree of sentiments. That this lady is the Accountant General. It demoralizes the core civil servants, because they will not see themselves as a bunch of people rejected by the system, and of course there was no basis for that.
All right, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Abia Democrats. Our guest today is Sabdon Obani. We have been taking a look at some burning issues in Abia State. The conversation continues right after this time out. Stay with us.
I hope you don't go fast.
Abia's #1 hit music radio. #1 hit music radio. Flow 94.9 FM. Umuahia, the flow of God's state.
don't come, I don't show. Hey, hey, see, oh yeah, J Martins. Hey, oh yo, hey, everybody.
As we speak, some workers have not collected their salaries because of this verification exercise, which the UT government say they're working hard to really clean up. But what's your take? UT government in a bid to clean up.
Thank you very much. Again, I have to say that through one's action, one will be able to read the person's psychological build. You know, there are people who, by their nature, are just sadists, and that is to say, they take interest, they have pleasure in seeing people suffer. If you come into a system where there are human beings, they are not files, these are human beings you are relating with. Other civil and public servants, teachers are all human beings. They have families. They have responsibilities. If you come into governance and you feel that there is a mess, in inverted commas, what do you do? Yes, the process is very simple. You start a verification exercise. But while you are doing that, don't forget that these people have to eat. Even plants need nutrients to be nourished. Plants need nutrients to have their lives sustained. You don't leave these people without paying them. Like local government workers, you've not paid them. Yet when you came into governance, because I've written on several occasions that by the time we were leaving government, there was this 24 billion naira that came in from Nigerian Governors Forum. It is supposed to be 48 billion, but what came in was 24 billion as we were leaving. Now, why don't you use it? Since you are very much interested in clearing arrears of salaries owed and that of pensioners, why wouldn't you use this money to clear it? And of course, as we were also leaving, the monthly allocation from FAC for April came in. And no sooner had that happened than $115 million came in from African Development Bank. So OT came in and made a lot of money.
Well, Sadon, let me come in here. Are you not indirectly inviting yourself and the administration you served under? If all these monies were available in the twilight of that administration, how come April salary is still an issue in Abia. How come that of May is also an issue?
Yeah, yes. You see, there's a way the federal federal account allocation committee works. That's fact. Money meant for April comes in May, and so by the time we were about to leave, April salary, April allocation came from Abuja, and that's why I told you that the understanding, the frame of mind of the new government was poisoned even before coming in, because you have not been sworn in as governor. The first thing you did was to write to banks that every account owned by Abia State government should be frozen, and the banks, for only God knows why, adhered to that threat, because they want to retain their customership with the government. So none of them was interested, was ready to disobey that threat. So money that should have been used in paying April salary in May, as we were living, was held under the threat of Governor Oti, who was yet to be sworn in. So I've not in any way indicted my government, and the other money that came to was also at the time we were living. And you know, it takes a lot of processes in bureaucracy, financial bureaucracy of government. It passes from one state to another before you can start disbursing. So what I'm saying in effect is that if the government is interested in verifying the number of workers they have, number of people that are living, their grade, their whether they've reached the age of retirement or not, yes, pay workers first. That will not in any way prevent you or inhibit you from going on with your verification exercise. At the end of the verification exercise, you will not be in a position to know if there were people whom you are not supposed to have paid by virtue of the time you came in that you are paid, and there could be punishment for it. So what I'm saying is that you don't treat human beings with interest. You don't take interest in seeing people suffer. That is what the government is doing now.
So in other words, you're canvassing that while the verification is ongoing,
you should pay them. You should pay them. They are human beings. They have families. Some of them, their children are in school. Why should you not pay them? It is wickedness.
Okobonka of Asa.
That's my name. That's my title.
Let's talk about the future of PDP, your party. Just after the elections, your party automatically became opposition. As we speak, PDP has no senator in Abia State. As we speak, PDP has only one House of Rep member, which is even from your zone.
Yes.
Sir Nkwanta. Okay. It's just in the State House that you were lucky to have like 11 people. So that shows really that the PDP has been relegated. Let's talk about the future of the PDP going forward.
Thank you very much. In the first instance, I want to say that PDP has not been relegated in Abia State. You know, election has a process. Election starts with campaigns, then the election is conducted, the result is announced, and then the next thing that follows is protest, litigation. So it is only on the litigation by the Electoral Act 2022, we have a maximum period of 180 days when every matter that has to do with election 2023 would have been dispensed. So by December, latest by December ending, we will be able to know who are senators in Abia State, who are members of House of Representatives in Abia State, who even the governor is in Abia State. So based on optimism, based on what is on ground, I'm not a lawyer, but as a writer, as an essayist, I've been following legal developments. I know that if an electoral act says this must be, this shall be, not even must be, this shall be, anything that contravenes that stipulation automatically amounts to a nullity. And of course, you know, you don't build something on nothing. So PDP is in a very good state. By God's grace, based on our conviction that the law is on our side, PDP is bouncing back and we are taking over this state.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the actions the governor have taken so far. Last week, the governor awarded about 9 roads for construction, and there's this debate as to whether the governor did the right thing, him not announcing the kilometer of roads, and of course the amount involved in the contracts. As a former government official, you've been in the corridor of power for a while now, and you understand the runnings. Did the governor err by doing what he did?
Well, what Governor Tim displayed was a clear case of hypocrisy. You don't call it inexperience or deliberate mischief. Now, for you to award a contract, the procedure is very clear. A contract that is beyond 50 million naira must have to pass through the F&GPC, that Finance and General Purposes Committee. F&GPC will consider it, and it must be tendered for by at least 3 contractors. Now, when F&GPC, after deliberating on it, will now bring it to the State Executive Council, and the State Executive Council, if those contracts are found being implemented, they will give approval. But in this case, the man just woke up and started awarding contracts. The terms of contracts are not known, the processes are not followed, and again there must be appropriation. If you are awarding a contract, that contract is supposed to have been captured in the appropriation law of the state. That means there must be a legislative input. But in this case, there was none. And again, to tell you, I said hypocrisy. This is a man, before his election, before his swearing in, he came with people, a tall man that's either white or Asian, but he wasn't of the black color, black race. He said he was bringing in Julius Berger. Now he has been sworn in. More than 1 month, we have not seen any Julius Berger. Rather, he's bringing a company, Soul Badge, a company that he has serious interest in. This is not the way to run government. So what we are saying in effect is that the man has erred. The man should learn the rudiments of governance. He is inexperienced in it. And we don't want it to be combined with mischief. When I say mischief, because there's a very strong fear that he knows that is not going to last for a long time. So I haven't contested the election 3 times. We have the feeling that he is busy trying to gather money here and there to make sure that by the time the final announcement is made, he will leave and say, yes, after all, I didn't lose at all. I've recovered what I spent.
Is there nothing called supplementary budgets? Because the budget you refer to is the 2023 budget.
Yes.
That was prepared by the outgone administration. It is only natural for him to come and say, okay, for my work to be done, I need a supplementary budget. Don't you think it is possible that the supplementary budget would capture things like this?
No, listen, the supplementary budget goes through the House of Assembly. As I speak with you, such it. Of course, you know that the House of Assembly is a house of commotion. They've not sat down peacefully to think of any appropriation law or bill. So the man is working just as an emperor, and this is democracy. You don't work as a feudal lord. You are elected as a governor, quote unquote. You are elected as a governor, and you must follow due democratic processes. You can talk of anticipatory budget, that I'm doing this, I'm going to do that in anticipation of this, but then we should not exceed 15 million. That is the limit the governor has.
Okay, since we don't really know the figure of the contracts, is it safe for one to assume they are not more than 50 million?
In the first instance, government has to be characterized by transparency. It is not something that is, done in secrecy. You should tell us this contract I'm awarded. Look at the value. And it is only when you tell us the value of the contract you are awarded that you'll be in a position to know if you mean well for the state. But when you award, when things are shrouded in secrecy, it means you have something to hide. And for goodness sake, I call him to change that disposition. Because one, it will not help the state. Two, it is also not going to help him. Because at the end of it all, history will place him somewhere. And I wouldn't like history to place him in a very obscure corner where everything about him will be associated with negativity.
Let's talk about history. You just mentioned history. You know, when we mentioned that you were coming to the studio today, someone, I suppose from your place, made a post on Facebook to say that what he sees as a continuous attack by you to the OT government may weaken the chances of Okwa people to serve in this government. Do you think your actions or inactions will weaken the chance of Okwa people to be well positioned in this government?
That is an infantile way of thought. Don Obani, I'm speaking my mind. Am I Okwa people?
But you are a leader in Okwa.
I'm a leader. The thing is that OT himself doesn't even know politics. What do you do? If you are getting, attacks, reasonable attacks, of course, from me, they're not even attacks. They are observations. I'm only wishing that he corrects the absurdities inherent in his governance. So why not do something for my people? Say, this is your brother, that this is your son that is attacking us. Despite this attack, this is what we are going to do for you. So anybody having that mindset that Don Obani is attacking OT, I'm not attacking OT. What did OT? Or even up to now, OT continues to call OKZ as a rogue. And I don't know why. OKZ is not an impersonator. OKZ has a PhD. The man answers doctor. Has he a PhD? So it's impersonation. It's falsification. So nobody should say what Don Obani is saying should constitute an inhibition.
But we have honorary doctorate degrees. What OT has is an honorary doctorate
but that
degree.
is not even an issue. That is not even an issue.
It's just to set the record straight.
Yes, you are right. But OKZ has a PhD.
Okay, what a comparison, but
He's saying that one is real, one is fake.
okay, let's take a look at other issues in the state. Yesterday, the health commissioner in Abia State, Dr. Ngozi Okonkwo, alongside some medical doctors, were at the multi-specialist hospital, one of the last projects that Ikpeazu commissioned before he took a final bow out of office. And she raised so many concerns that the structure itself, the architect that designed it, did not consider the usage, no medical inputs. Some of the rooms or some of the wards, the ventilation is not appropriate for a hospital. We would like to know what your take on the commissioner's assessment is.
Well, that commissioner, I think her name is Ngozi Okonkwo. Alanti, she's a medical doctor. But there's no record so far where she actually practiced medicine successfully. We are yet to be shown that record. Again, she's only a medical doctor. She's not into building engineering. She's not an architect. She's not a civil engineer. She's not a structural engineer. So on what basis? And she didn't go with any of these professionals. So on what basis could she have stood up, not staying up to 2 hours in that hospital, which is one of the best in the southeast, only to say that the place is not fit for human usage? It means that she is only out to destroy. Listen, let me say,
she's a medical doctor.
She's a medical doctor.
You've accepted that fact.
No, she's a medical doctor, but then she's not an architect. She's not a civil
The
engineer.
reason why she came up with that notion that the architect designed the building without
But let
consulting
me tell you,
the medical
a
doctors.
professor of cardiology, Professor Okonta, who works at University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, UPTA, was appointed by Dr. Okezi Pazo to take care of that hospital. And the man wrote to Governor Oti that he has been appointed to oversee the affairs of that hospital, and that he wants to say that that hospital is one of the best things that has happened to Abia State, and that if we will be given the opportunity, it will become a medical tourist attraction. The first day that woman came to that hospital, what we have was that the man has been dismissed. So this is a professor of medicine, a consultant cardiologist, saying this hospital is one of the best things that has happened not only in Abia State but in the whole of Southeast. And look at this woman who has no track record.
Well, you may want to take a look at her record.
Excuse me.
You're casting aspersion on a person.
What she has been doing is raking up bills, staying in hotels since she came. This is not the way we run a government. When you are appointed to be a commissioner or what in your state, you have to look for a place to live.
I would rather focus on the issues instead of personalities.
Yeah,
okay, you've cast aspersions as to her qualification and what have you.
No, I said she's a medical doctor.
Just so you know, she has worked with the WHO, DFID, and other international organizations.
That didn't qualify her to be an architect or civil engineering.
She's not laying claim to that. She only said the architect that designed the building.
No, she can listen. All of us, like myself, I come from a family. What my father achieved, I wouldn't say this man was a failure. He didn't do anything. What I had to do, I add value to what he achieved and grow upon what my father had achieved while he lived. Now you don't come and say what a previous administration did is all a nullity. It shows that you are very, very ill in thought.
All right, we'll be going interactive now to take some calls, and of course I'm live on Facebook. You may want to drop your comments on Facebook as well. Our numbers are 0809 555 1029, 0809 666 1029. Facebook page, facebook.com/Magic FM.
Okay, Facebook, thank God, Chinenye Enemana. I urge all and sundry to give the present administration the maximum support to succeed. Steve Wanzu says Donovan is just indicting himself and the past government. How much did the government receive within the last 8 years? Thank God you said it is wickedness to withhold salary. Now multiply the degree of wickedness proportional to the number of months Abia workers were owed for the past 8 years. Comrade Elijah Udenwa Ukubunkandewo, I believe what you said, let the governor pay workers, even teachers are even borrowing money for their transport fare. How I wish a teacher is listening. Paul Chineduwato, Mr. Obani, why was it so easy for the government you serve to owe salaries of teachers, doctors, lecturers, etc.? Chiso Moriako says, fear of the opposition, evidence of potential foul play. Parading Julius Berger is already ongoing. Port Harcourt Road, a distraction to bring in litigation that will delay the work. Who are the contractors handling the 9 roads so far? Which house approved them? Clean hands, evidence of equity.
I don't know.
Kelvin Wosu, what will Don Obani discuss about development in Okwa? We are watching, even as he has started talking already. Felix Duke, Ogadon, I'm surprised you're the executive Director Center for Equity, Eradication of Rural Poverty. Let me believe you didn't just start that center or platform just recently. As a Deputy Chief of Staff, former Commissioner, and major stakeholders, what did you project, or how did you project and promote equity in the political space in Abia? Prince Ademchi Ekechuku, green snake in a green grass. Mr. Oh no, please watch your tongue. Thank you so much. Comrade James Daniels, Don Obani is my brother. He is one of the problem Okwa people face. Okay, Mayor Namdi says this man is crying here and there because he has been removed from the sucking the state dry. Okay, are you crying because the feeding bottle has been removed from your mouth?
I have not cause to cry. I have no cause to cry whatsoever.
Okay, so let's just take a few calls before we go.
Meanwhile,
Hello.
Good morning, my friend.
Yes, good morning.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, quickly,
go
please.
ahead.
Okay, my name is Gimechambong. I'm from Abia, Holy Land, I'm Lieutenant of Biafra.
Go ahead, please. Be civil as possible.
Yeah, I heard all you have said. What draw my attention is the fact that you acknowledge the fact that it is able for an employee to owe his workers. Now, I want to ask you, why was it that the PDP government was owing his several workers? Was it a respect act to get the workers or what? Then, finally, because of time, can you tell me any positive thing that you can see in this alleged social administration, or all of them are negative? That's my question. Thank you.
All right.
Sao Kubunka, he's asking that is OT all bad in your eyes? At least there should be some good things you should commend.
well, in the first instance, let me start with payment of salaries. I am by training, I'm a teacher, and I know that a worker deserves a laborer deserves his wages. So, in the case of our past government, which I was part and parcel of, okay, yes, his administration owes salaries to some segment of the Abia public workers, like the NDAs, ministry, department, and agencies. Nobody was owed a kobo by Governor Kezipazo's administration. Then where we had problem was in the parastatals or agencies, like a place like Abia Poly. Abia Poly is an institution that should generate its own money. What government does is to give subvention, and government was not deficient in providing those subventions. The thing is that one thing about employment, salaries, is that our people should also change our mindset about employment. One, government should not be the highest employer of labor, and if you want to employ, there must be vacancies. Vacancies must exist, so that by the time these vacancies exist, they will also be captured in the budget of the state, so that by the time it is captured and the people are employed, we will make sequential arrangement for their pension when they will retire. So if people are just brought into the civil service without, higgledy-piggledy, without budgeted provisions, it becomes difficult.
Okubunka, it doesn't seem like you're answering the question.
No.
He's saying that is it that you have not seen any positive thing
I'm coming to
in the
that.
OT
I'm
government?
coming to that place. I'm saying that Governor Kezipazo paid salaries as much as he could. Where he failed was where we had people who should have augmented. That is by the way. Then, in the case of Governor Governor Oti, when he removed tiles on the road, I wrote something on my Facebook. I said it was a good development because at least Abba has become free from such hostile faces. I'm not a sadist, but what I'm saying as a matter of fact is that the man should not take interest. Every day you are criticizing government of former government of Okezipazo. You are seeing nothing in them. That is, look at this doctor Okoronko coming to a well-built hospital with one of the best equipment as we speak today in the southeast, and you are saying that nothing good is seen in that.
Well, she did not say nothing good, Sadon Obani. She only pointed out some.
So let her demolish it. Now, Emeka did a very good job. The man in Kano is also demolishing.
That will be a waste of public funds.
Let her demolish it. But I advise her to look for a place, get a flat or a duplex and live, than the money she's raking day in, day out in hotels.
Well, you're going personal again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Saokubunka, just 2 minutes, wrap your thoughts.
Yes, the man that said, what has Okorubuke done in Ukwa West? I've done a lot of things. There are many people who are enjoying pensionable employment today because of Don Obani. There are many people who got appointments in one way or another in government because of Don Obani. I am one that graded, my place is Umikisias from Ariara Junction. It's about 10 to 12 kilometers. I graded it out of my own personal money twice. It is not easy. In the the health in my place is one of the best. I sunk a borehole for the health, and I've made sure that a lot of children of Oka West are properly placed. I'm not a rogue. That you see, how many of us that worked in government can come out boldly to criticize the government? I did it because I know I had no skeleton in a cupboard. So you don't expect me to do much. I was just merely an appointee. I wasn't elected into any elective position. So I had my limits. But what I'm saying, even within that limit, I performed very, very creditably.
And you have no government property in your...
Nothing. That's why they grade me. That's why they grade me. Apart from being executive director of Center for Equity and Eradication of Rural Poverty, I placed many people on 50,000 in my place per month as a deputy chief of staff. Now, apart from that, apart from being executive director of Center for Equity and Eradication of Rural Poverty, I'm also editor-in-chief, managing editor of Equity Reporters.ng.
Thank you so much.
I'm also the chairman, chief executive of Akodenolo Resources Nigeria Limited. I have one of the biggest pig farms in Abia State.
Thank you so much, Sir Don Ubani. It's been almost 45 to 50 minutes talking to Sir Don Ubani, the immediate Deputy Chief of Staff in the OKZ government. He has served as Commissioner of Information, Commissioner of Petroleum, and he's had some time with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, my name is Anastasia Odochi Uchenna.
My name is Ben Mwatu. Thank you for being part of the program.